Hello, I'm Matt Mueller, editor of Screen International, and we are delighted to introduce you to our annual showcase of British and Irish screen talent, the UK and Ireland Stars of Tomorrow. This is the 18th Stars of Tomorrow showcase, which was first launched in 2004, and in that time we have highlighted dozens of actors, directors, screenwriters, producers, and heads of department at the beginnings of their careers. Names who have gone on to become some of the most notable British and Irish talents working in today's screen industries. In another year where the impacts of the pandemic continue to be felt, being able to shine a spotlight on talented new voices coming into the industry feels hugely important. And we are thrilled to showcase these diverse new talents right here and right now. We will be hearing so much more from all of them in the future. As ever, we couldn't create this list without the brilliant Fionnuala Halligan, who is now in her 11th year as our Stars of Tomorrow curator. We are also thrilled to welcome back Amazon Prime Video, now entering their second year as our headline sponsor for Stars of Tomorrow, and our valued long-term partners at Screen Skills and the BFI South Bank, which has hosted the Stars photo shoot since 2015. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to our 2021 UK and Ireland Stars of Tomorrow. But before we meet them, let me first hand you over to Fionnuala Halligan to say a few words.
Hello everyone. Matt is right, it has been a tough year, a time of big changes in the industry, but there have been opportunities as well as challenges. And presenting the new generation of British and Irish filmmakers is a significant highlight for us at Screen. Things have changed in every way in the last 11 years since I started selecting the Screen Stars of Tomorrow, and overall it's been for the best. There used to be a very tiny, closely guarded access point into the filmed entertainment business, and that has significantly widened. We can open it more, of course, but this year's Stars of Tomorrow come from every walk of life, every part of the country. The gates are open and the lineup is diverse in every way. The stories they tell will be all the richer as a result. We look forward to following them over the years and wish them the very best of luck. If this is our future, I think you'll be able to tell we are in very good hands indeed.
Hi, I'm Georgia Brown, head of Amazon Studios Europe, and I am so happy to be here for the second year in a row representing Prime Video as the headline sponsor for Screen International Stars of Tomorrow. I'm responsible for overseeing the development, production and ultimate output that comes from our studios in Europe. And a big part of this role is discovering who that next generation of talent is. One of the things I was so overwhelmed with this year when looking at all of your biographies was the incredible, diverse representation, but also mix of disciplines. We have everything from on-screen talent, casting directors, DOPs, and production designers. It was just a reminder to me as the sheer weight of what goes into making fantastic entertainment for audiences all around the world. Huge congratulations getting to this point and being recognised by Screen International Stars of Tomorrow. I know firsthand how hard you must have all worked to get here and the tenacity needed to cut through in an industry like this. And just remember, as you continue to celebrate the wins, which I know will be inevitable for a lot of you, that you are inspiring that next generation of talent. They will be looking to you to see how you carved your path and seeing what they can emulate. So it's a big responsibility that you have on your shoulders today. Huge congratulations again and enjoy this evening.
Screen Skills is once again very proud to partner with Screen on the Stars of Tomorrow, and in particular for the way this initiative spotlights talent behind the camera as well as on screen. Because this fantastic celebration is an opportunity for us to talk about the work that we do in finding and developing a skilled and inclusive workforce behind the camera. As I've said before, talent isn't just about discovering natural born genius. It can be nurtured and it can be developed. And that's where we come in. We are really pleased to have played a role in supporting Stars of Tomorrow such as Claire Ann Williams and Saul Bacon to deliver on their promise through Screen Skills programmes such as Trainee Finder and through our collaborations with partners such as Creative England on the iFeatures programme. Now, we offer training for new entrants all the way through to industry leaders, and we have other support in place to help people, whatever their background, to get in and to get on. such as bursaries that can be used to helpfully unblock barriers to success, or through our mentoring network, which is where we were delighted to support Chitai's Beats organisation for British East Asian screen workers. We're also particularly pleased to see how many of this year's stars have taken our free e-learning on unconscious bias and coronavirus safety. We do all of this work thanks to industry contributions to our skills funds, and we are incredibly grateful to all the productions that pay in. We are also very thankful to the BFI for awarding us national lottery funds to deliver on its future film skills strategy. The UK's screen industries have a long track record of telling great stories with style, passion, incredible imagination, and that success is built on talent, the right crew with the right skills, like those you've seen named by Screen today. So massive congratulations to this year's stars, and Screen Skills promises to continue playing our part in finding and supporting the next stars of tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Greetings. Sorry for that short delay. My name is Matt Mueller. I'm the editor of Screen International. Thank you for joining us for this special live Screen Daily Talk to meet our 2021 UK and Ireland Stars of Tomorrow. For the rest of this hour, myself and my colleague Fionnuala Halligan will be introducing and speaking to the actors, directors, writers, producers, and heads of department that we have selected as our UK and Ireland Stars of Tomorrow for this year. All of them are emerging talents who are already making an indelible impression on the industry and ready to do so much more. And when I say we selected, I mean Finn, who as well as being Screen's chief film critic and reviews editor, is now in her 11th year as our Stars of Tomorrow curator. So welcome, Finn. Here we are again, exactly 1 year to the day after we held a live online event to introduce our 2020 UK and Ireland Stars of Tomorrow. We enjoyed it so much, we're back again. How you doing?
We loved a live event, didn't we, Matt? And we should say that this is a live event, so please, obviously, everyone be patient with us if anything technical should happen. But yes, it's 1 year to the day, and here we are again, 2021 Stars of Tomorrow. This time they were shot during COVID restrictions, but not quite as bad as 2020. And we were never sure what the situation would be by the time it came to October, but here we are. Back to life.
Here we are, ready to introduce the next cohort. Well, this year's slightly different as well, in that we will actually be able to celebrate with our stars in person as well as doing this online event. So we'll be doing that next week at the Cafe Royal in London. And we'll do that along with our 2020 Stars of Tomorrow, who of course last year were only able to be celebrated online. So we look forward to seeing everybody in person next week. So before we start, I just want to say a quick thank you again to Amazon Prime Video, who joined us for a second year as our headline sponsor, and to our long-term partners, Screen Skills, and also the BFI London Film Festival. We thank them all for their support. So let's get started. So the format is going to be that we're going to bring our stars on in small groups, 6 groups in total, for a short conversation with myself and Finn. We have most of our 2021 stars with us today. A few have been unable to join us due to previous commitments, but you can read all about this year's stars on screendaily.com. And for any Screen subscribers out there, you will shortly be receiving your print issue, which contains all of the Stars of Tomorrow profiles and also the photo shoot that we did at the FIA South Bank this summer. We'll also, at the end of this video, be gathering all of our stars back on the same screen to raise a quick glass to them before they all leave off to their exciting careers in the screen industries. So we have a lot to get through. As Finn says, forgive us if there's any technical hiccups along the way, but we'll hopefully be doing this all as seamlessly as possible. Now, what you're all here for and what you're all waiting for, we're going to start bringing on our UK and Ireland Stars of Tomorrow. Our first group to join us today includes one of our writers, directors, and several of our actors. And to introduce them to you, I will pass you it back to Finn.
Thanks, Matt. So for our first group, we have actors and one director. The actors are Anne Skelly, Sheila Atim, Jonathan Ajayi, Daryl McCormick, Alora Torchia, and the director Nida Mansour. Now, the reason why we have a director in amongst the actors is because Nida is currently scouting. You may be able to guess that she's on the move. And location scouting. Nida, can you hear us? Or are you receiving us loud and clear from your location?
Yes, I am. I'm just in a car, so hopefully it's not too weird and you can hear me.
Oh no, I think it's quite atmospheric. Can we just, you obviously, you're the director of Lady Parts, which everyone loves on television, and you've done a lot before then, and now moving on to the big screen with the film called Polite Society, which I think is what you're currently scouting. So can you tell us anything about that, or in fact where you are even?
Yeah, so I'm just near Battersea Art Centre, where we'll hopefully be shooting one of the sort of the final big set piece. And a bit about the film: it's an action comedy about two sisters. So there'll be like lots of martial arts and some big heists. So yeah, I'm trying to sort of scale it up a bit for the big screen and just have fun.
Wow, it sounds great. That's great. Thanks a lot, Nida. We can let you go now.
Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Nida.
Bye.
Nice to see you briefly. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Jonathan, we're going to come to you next. Welcome. Are you actually joining us from a theatre today? Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, I am.
Are you due to be on stage quite soon then?
Yeah, quite soon.
Well, Jonathan, you're in an unusual position in that you actually started landing key roles on stage and screen while you were still attending Lambda, the drama school you went to, and that included Noughts and Crosses, Wonder Woman 1984, a lead role in The Brothers' Size at the Young Vic. What did those early professional experiences teach you while you were still actually sort of learning at drama school?
I think what I got from having like one foot in school and one foot in the industry, I was able to see, I guess, the bridge between, and that the only consistent thing is who you are in the midst of it, and not to lose yourself, not to lose sight of yourself, not to let the exciting flashy lights of, the West End or being really nervous on set dictate who you are. I really had to temper myself as I was going from set and coming back to school, because it was in my final year, and that's such a sensitive time for a lot of people. And you just need to maintain a sense of who you are and just enjoy the moment, but know how to do so around in different circumstances.
Well, and what are you on stage in tonight, Jonathan?
Doing Hamlet back at the Young Vic, yeah, with Kush Jumbo. Playing Laertes. It's nice to be back on the stage.
Fantastic.
It's been a while.
Well, good luck trading the boards tonight, and thanks for joining us
so
today.
much.
Will we see you at the end, or do you have to head off now?
We'll see. I don't have to use Spider Rules yet, so
okay.
we're all right for now.
All right, great. Thanks, Jonathan.
That's Kush Jumbo, who was a former star of Tomorrow, actually. I was reading her reviews today. It sounds like she's done incredibly well with Jonathan there. But I'm going to move on and introduce Anne Skelly, who's the Irish actor. Hi, Anne.
Hey, how's it going?
Very well, thanks. Where are you dialing in from?
Well, my cousin's bedroom, so the glamorous lights of there, I suppose, with the curtains drawn, trying not to give away the background and the messy room and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, look, you've had a lot of glamour. I mean, you're in your life. You don't want for it. I mean, you're currently, part of the Nevers. Are able to be seen in the Nevers, a huge, big budget Joss Whedon film. But I guess that I first sort of probably saw you, I guess, in Rose Plays Julie, although you've done quite a lot before then. How does it work for you in terms of going from one extreme to the other, the small, intense, independent film, and then the sort of giant TV show? And where is it that you'd like to end up in that spectrum?
Oh, well, it's funny because I've always done quite dark, I suppose, being in quite dark worlds and very troubled characters and things like that. So I've only known the kind of, I don't know, smaller budget stuff, or like maybe more indie kind of stuff. And now kind of feeling plunked into the otherworldliness of this like HBO colossal series. It's like, it's hard to equate the two. It's nearly like the left and right part of your brain need to be sewn up somewhere in the middle, because it can feel so different sometimes. I've actually started to really appreciate lightness. That's the biggest thing that I've gotten from doing the Nevers is lightness is I suppose equally as important as exploring the darker side of things. And it's, I suppose art influencing life to some degree. That's not the phrase, but that's how it feels.
Wait, do you know if you'll do a second series of the Nevers, or is that still up in the air?
Well, we're just finishing the second half of the first season now. Get your head around that. I can't. But it's been about 2.5 years, and we're on episode 10 at the moment, so should be done in December. I feel like I'm coming out of the woods and like seeing what else is out in the world.
Well, look, good luck with it. Thanks so much, Anna. Maybe we'll see you later on.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
Thanks, Anne. And Daryl, we're going to come to you next. So, as well as appearing in Peaky Blinders and Irish comedy Pixie, you have a big role coming up in Sophie Hyde's Good Luck to You, Leo Grande, in which you not only share the screen with Emma Thompson, but apparently you also shared a COVID bubble during the production. Can you tell us a little bit about the experience of shooting that film with Emma?
Yeah, it was a quite special experience. We were in Norwich for the month of March earlier this year, and the city was kind of closed down. I think it was in a lockdown, so we had a really nice time with Sophie making that film, and it just felt very personal. It just felt like the three of us were kind of stepping through it each week, and it was very simple. Like Emma and I would just wake up in the morning, we'd walk the set, we'd shoot, we'd have lunch together, we'd shoot after lunch, and then we'd come home or go back to the accommodation. We used to have this thing called a dog basket, which we would run the lines for the next day, kind of like lying head to toe, like on the bed. It was a beautiful experience just to be able to get to know Emma quite personally, and just to kind of hold a film between the two of us just taught me quite a lot. It was quite special.
Yeah, sounds amazing. Well, we'll look forward to seeing that very much, and hopefully you're going to hang around till the end as well. See you.
I will.
Yeah, great.
Sheila, Atim, can I move over to you and introduce you to everyone? We're so pleased to have you on the Stars of Tomorrow, and of course, it's a difficult one because you've been a star of theatre for quite some time. You're an award-winning actor, girl from the North Country. There's so much that you've done on the stage and that you've continued to do with Constellations, but yet at the same time, you've been moving over to TV and then I believe film. So can you sort of tell us what you're up to at the moment? What your immediate plans are, so we can get a kind of pin you down a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm currently in Mississippi working on a film project that I don't think has been announced yet, so I don't know if I can say what it is, but it's a beautiful indie project. And then I'm also in preparation for a much bigger project in terms of scale, the film The Woman King, which is starring Viola Davis and Toussaint Beidou, and a wonderful cast with Lashana Lynch and Adrian Warren and John Boyega, about the female army of ancient Benin, the Dahomey Kingdom. So that's what I'm doing. I'm kind of stuck in between these two films, which are very, very different. One requires lots of training and requires me to look like a warrior, and the other really doesn't.
It sounds like you're at a sort of a pivotal point in your career. I mean, how do you feel comfortable about the idea that you're a stage and you can, because you're also writing as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really excited about this kind of point that I've reached, because all of my life I've really tried to keep all of my interests going, but also to keep trying to expand, and explore my own horizons and see if I can broaden myself. So being able to, start mainly in theatre and now move more into screen, and now really explore writing in a kind of more considered way, is something that I'm really looking forward to being able to juggle all the three of those at the same time. And maybe other things, I'd love to try directing, I'd love to try producing. I don't know if I have the time, but I would love to try those things.
Sounds like you're very busy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for calling us. I didn't realize it was Mississippi you were in. I thought I understood you were in the United States, but I didn't realize you were there. Thank you very much. I understand if you can't stay on for the rest of the hour, but
I'll see what I can do. I might still be about, but I might be off to set. So yeah, but thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Sheila.
Well, Alora, speaking of Globetrotters, I'm coming to you next. First of all, I love your name. So I know you had a very nomadic childhood, living in lots of different countries, from Sri Lanka to Japan to India. You've appeared in French language projects as well as English ones like Midsummer and Ali and Ava, the Clive Barnard film. Would you say there's an advantage, or do you see an advantage that internationalism has given you in terms of going up for UK projects, or what do you think that lends you in terms of being an actor and sort of expressing things on screen?
I think I've always I really enjoy doing work that speaks of sort of the everyman story, or something that everyone can connect with. I really like projects that are quite circular in that sense. So there's something quite wonderful about working in different countries and working with international artists, because they bring something different to the table, something that perhaps you don't expect as much, or you're not anticipating because you've sort of lived in a language for a fair bit of time, so you're expecting that to come back. So I always find it's just one of those things that you're sort of constantly battling a different way of communicating and learning and adapting, which I suppose I have naturally because of how I grew up. And I find that really comforting when I find it again in my work. So yeah, I would say that that's what it is. But it's funny because even though they're so different, I would often say that at the heart of it, the work is always somewhere the same. So yeah.
And what are you working on now? Are you doing anything at the moment?
I am currently in training for an indie project. I'm shooting in November in Scotland. It's going to be very wet and a lot of sort of wetsuit action. So I'm doing a lot of bouldering and getting over my fear of heights. So yeah, I'm doing that at the minute.
Sounds exciting. Well, good luck with that. And well, look, thank you very much to our first group, and see you all a bit later on at the end to toast a glass in your honor. Let me now introduce our next group of stars, and these will be our heads of department stars of tomorrow for 2021. So please welcome to the screen casting director Heather Bastian, cinematographer Olan Collardy, production designer Ginny Goodwin, costume designer Grace Snell, and hair and makeup designer Claire Ann Williams. Do we have all our group too? So hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. Yeah, you all well? So thanks for joining us today. Ginny, I'm going to come to you first. Congratulations on being one of our stars this year. So I'm interested. So you've had a number of different jobs before you actually, found your calling as a production designer, including having your own children's clothing business. Now that you've got a few credits under your belt, including Blue Story and the upcoming Boxing Day, what do you love most about this profession that you've now embraced?
What do I love most? That's a really interesting question. I love it all. I love making like beautiful things. I love meeting all the people, telling like great stories. I think, the whole thing of making movies. I love the process. It's really hard, but I don't know. I love actually like the collaboration, I think is my favorite bit. With the directors, costume, hair and makeup, everything. Yeah, it's just the people. That's what I like the most.
Yeah, well, it's a great industry to work in if you love people, then, isn't it? Because you obviously get to meet so many different people on different projects.
That is true. Very true.
Well, thank you, Ginny. Back to you, Finn.
Thank you.
Oh, hi. Hi again. I'm very pleased to introduce Grace Nell, a costume designer who I feel like I've long admired, but you haven't actually been that long in the business, Grace. It's just 9 years, but you've done some amazing work. Souvenir and Souvenir 2 in particular, and Mogul Mowgli. I know you're trained at Wimbledon, but I just wanted to ask you really, I guess because I've been so impressed with your work, about how you start, say for example, Souvenir and Souvenir 2, which is a very immersive piece, and the details and the costuming are so incredibly personal. And where do you start when you take on a project? What's the first step for you?
I think with anything, I research quite heavily, archives, books, and then I quite like to get out as soon as I can and window shop or people watch. I find secondhand clothing shops, charity shops, just to almost mood board with clothing as a starting point really helps me. And then I kind of have, rails of clothes that are kind of inspiration garments more, just to kind of start getting quite tactile quite quickly. I do obviously research quite heavily, but I do like to move that to 3D quite early on.
And are you working on anything right now, Grace?
Well, I'm just wrapping a project at the moment, a TV series for Sky called The Rising, and we're just all boxing everything up at the moment.
Well, thank you very much. I'm being a bit quick here, but I'm realizing that we need to move on. Thank you, Grace. Thank you for being part of Stars of Tomorrow this year.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, apologies everybody. I know we're rushing through, but we obviously just have an hour with you, and so we just want to give a chance for everyone to speak. Olin, I'm coming to you next. I'm sure I'm saying your name incorrectly, so please correct me if I am. But you also had another career like Ginny before you came to the world of screen storytelling. For you, it was actually a high-flying career in finance. Which led to you buying your first camera and effectively, I suppose, teaching yourself about how to create images for the screen. So can you tell us a little bit about this original lure into the world of visuals for you? And then also a little bit about the project that you worked on with your fellow star of tomorrow, Rain Allen Miller, who's also going to be coming on a bit later on.
Oh, yes, sure. So, yes, for me, that lure of image making stems back from my childhood. I have dabbled in all forms of creativity right from when I was probably 5 or 6. And I suppose that stems from being like a middle child where you're not like the really important one and you're not the first and you're not the last. So you have to, I guess, preoccupy yourself by entertaining yourself. So for me, my interest stems, from, drawing, painting, photography, down to world building. So that I would say wardrobe, textures, production design. So for me, when I get floated a project, I'm kind of thinking about the world. So I want to know what the music is, what is a wardrobe going to be like, what colors, the color palette. And I think for me, that's how I'm able to conjure images up front. And so I think I'd like to call myself kind of like a holistic artist or cinematographer. And I think that's what really drew me into Rain's project. I mean, Rain, for those who know her, she's someone who's very, she's really into her world building and cares about every facet of what appears on screen. So for me, it was an amazing collaboration, just working with someone who cares about the image as much as I do.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think it's my turn to introduce Heather Bastian, who I'm delighted to introduce because I think I wanted Heather to be in Stars of Tomorrow for a while before you finally got in. And Heather, you've been doing amazing work over the last couple of years, really going from strength to strength. You've got 2 big projects sort of on the cusp of coming out at the moment, which would be Rob Savage's Dashcam. He's a former star of Tomorrow, and Andrew Cumming, who's a star of Tomorrow this year, his film, The Origin. And I know, you've trained for years under various, well-known casting directors in the UK, from Des Hamilton to Carmel Cochrane, but I think you're working now in a different time, or do you feel you're working in a different time between the changes in attitude to casting and also working in COVID? How do you feel about your industry at the moment?
I feel like, there's certain projects where you know, some filmmakers may want a certain level of authenticity in the casting now, and it really is there is a big conversation around authenticity, and also giving actors more opportunities and bringing non-actors into our industry as well, giving them a stepping stone. I feel like that is a big change, and I'm always kind of navigating, you know, if I'm working with non-actors or trying to cast non-actors, for example, I'm always trying to navigate like how you do that ethically, how they can sustain a career after the film. So there's a lot more ethics that we're thinking about in casting now, I think. And but I think it's all really exciting. I feel like the world is opening up, and there's a lot more opportunities now for people who might not have ever thought about acting, and you know, obviously we still crack on with our traditional casting as well. So it's nice that it feels it just feels broader and wider.
And just, I mean, when I mentioned COVID, just a final quick question. I mean, when you say you're cracking on with your traditional casting, do you mean you're in the room again, or the self-tape? Because what I was thinking about is how much extra work or effort you might have to do to make people feel comfortable in the whole self-taping scenario.
Yeah, I think, well, I'm back in the room, which is amazing. So, you know, I love being in the room. I think self-tapes have their pros and cons. But eventually, you know, most directors that I work with will want to meet the actors. And I think the actors also, a lot of actors want to meet the team as well. You know, it works both ways, you know. So we are back in the room slowly for things like recalls and chemistry tests. And we're doing COVID tests and things and being nice and safe, still socially distancing as well.
Oh, that's good to hear, Heather. Look, thank you so much for being part of this and coming on today.
Thank you.
So Clara, I'm going to come to you next. Hi, welcome. So you actually always wanted to be a hair and makeup artist from a very early age, but I think you initially found it a bit challenging to find a way into the industry. So what finally opened the door for you, and on which production do you feel that you learned the most in terms of you know, where you are now? Oh, I think you're on mute, Claire.
Sorry, guys, that's me all over. On a film that I did called Two for Joy, I worked with a makeup designer, and she basically taught me everything. Yeah.
And how was the original journey into the industry for you? Because I think you were, you know, you weren't really sure how to get in. What opened doors for you in those that original sort of time when you were first trying to break in? Screen skills.
Yeah, I was a screen skills trainee, so I studied at Delamar. And then I didn't have work for a little while, you know, while I was trying to get into the industry. I was sending my CV off to loads of different makeup designers, but I wasn't getting any responses. And then I applied for screen skills, and I was really nervous, and it was like 1,000 people, and I thought, I'm never going to get it. And then I got through, and it really was a life-changing experience. I owe them a lot.
Well, that's fantastic, and obviously a great sort of piece of advice for other people trying to break into the industry as well, to sort of seek out those kind of opportunities when they come up. Thank you, Claire. I'm sorry we don't have more time to talk, but we need to move on. But we'll see you all at the end for the toast. So back to you now, Finn, for our third group.
Yes, we're on group 3, which are writers and directors. People wearing a lot of hats. So we have Molly Manning-Walker, who is a writer, director, and noted cinematographer. Andrew Cumming, writer, director. Sam Steiner, director. Thomas Hardiman, writer, director. Edem Kelman, writer, director. And Adura Onashile, who is a writer, actor, and director. Welcome to you all, and thanks for being part of this. I would like to start with Adura. Hi, are you with us? I hope you are.
Hi.
Hi, glad you could make it.
Thanks for having me. It's amazing to be here.
Oh, brilliant! It's lovely to have you, and you know, I'm a big fan of yours. You know, of your short, expensive shit, if we can say that here. But I also know that at the moment you're directing. It's your directorial debut, which you've also written about your own experiences of being in Glasgow, going up between Glasgow and Nigeria. Are you shooting that right now, Adura?
Growing up between London and Nigeria.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, we're in the 3rd week of the shoot, and we've got 3.5 weeks left.
So is your sort of Is your head still just completely in the shoot, or are you able to get some sort of perspective on it and to the overall picture about how it's going overall?
No perspective whatsoever, but it is mad and intense and wild to be doing your debut feature at this time in COVID. It's wild, kind of like the stoppages and, and trying to keep focused when you have to take a break because, all sorts of reasons. I think making film, it's been a shock to the system, but I think it's always intense for everybody. Well, that's what people say. It's certainly intense for me.
I hope that's in an enjoyable way, Adura.
Yes. I mean, I have these phenomenal performers and I keep having to punch into the fact that their performances and their nuance and their emotion is ultimately the thing I'm most interested in film. So all the logistics that feel overwhelming and the fact that the schedule is so tight and I just have to keep remembering and I keep seeing beauty every day from my performers and it's a really amazing crew. So we're all in it together. We're all in it.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Well, look, I'll leave you go back to it. And thank you very much, Adura. It's delightful to have you here.
Thank you. Lovely to meet everyone. Congratulations. Bye.
Thanks, Adura. Thanks. So, Molly, I'm going to come to you next. Hello.
Hello.
So you're what we describe as a multi-hyphenate in that you're a writer, a director, and a cinematographer. So you're DOPing actually on one of our 2020 Stars debut features, Charlotte Reagan's film, and also your debut short as a director, Good Thanks You, was selected for Cannes Critics Week. Are you quite committed to continuing with both creative disciplines in your career?
Yeah, definitely. I would love to carry on doing both. I mean, let's see how the world accepts that. But yeah, I think of myself as a collaborator more than anything. So, if I can carry on shooting and directing, then that's a dream come true.
And are you directing something at the moment, or are you actually still in the middle of Charlotte's shoot?
No, we wrapped Charlotte's a month ago. I've been taking a little bit of time out, and then we scouted the feature that I wrote in lockdown in Magaluf last week. So different things are happening. Yeah.
Great, exciting. So you might shoot that this year, you hope?
Not this year. Okay. No, probably next year. Yeah.
All right, good. Well, lovely to have you here, Molly, and
Thank you.
We'll see you later on for the video shoot.
Andrew Cumming, can I introduce you to everyone? Feels like a long time since I saw your short at the NFTS. It feels like, and you're on the cusp. Well, it's finished. You're about to release your first feature. So I want to talk about that a little. It's a Paleolithic horror called The Origin, shot in Scotland. And can you tell us a bit about it?
You've covered it pretty well. It's set 43,000 years ago. It's about a small ragtag tribe of 6 who are trying to discover new lands to see another day, and they encounter for lack of a better description, an ancient and unknown evil that runs amok. So that's in a nutshell. Sounds simple when you say it, and then you shoot the thing, and
You have to tell everyone about your own language that you created for.
Yeah, so there's times where you go, maybe this should be in English, and and that kind of faded away quite quickly while we were developing the script. And then we approached a friend of the producer, Oliver Castman, who is multilingual, and so he's not a linguist per se, but he took to it extremely quickly and created this fully functioning language. It's not just gibberish. There are nouns and verbs, and you see patterns as you go through. So we worked really hard at it, and the actors just threw themselves into it, as they did to everything on the shoot. So I think it gives it a verisimilitude that the English wouldn't. It would have been would have been ridiculous if we'd done it in English. So yeah.
Well, we're hoping, fingers crossed, that we get to see this early in the new year. That's correct. I think the last time I spoke to you, we're hoping for a festival launch, maybe.
Yeah, that's the plan. I think a festival would be great, and then the strategy for release will roll on off the back of that.
Okay. Well, good luck with it. And
thank you very much.
So next we come to Sam Steiner. Sam, are you here? Hi, Sam. So you have a multitude of writing projects on the go, including you're collaborating with the Greek director of Apples, Christos Nikou, on his new feature Fingernails for Kate Blanchett's company. You've also got the horror film Banquet, which you set up at David Yates's company. So I just wonder how you, as a writer, balance working on a number of different projects at once, while presumably always kind of looking for new original ideas to you know, that you want to pursue as a screenwriter.
I struggle. It's, I think what I've realized in the last couple of years is, like, the nice thing about those two projects that you mentioned is that they are so different. They're like, you know, one's a kind of like absurdist rom-com thing, and one's a horror movie. And I think that's the only way to really stay sane, is to just try and do things, use different bits of your brain, and collaborate and work with people whose tastes are different and who are brilliant in their own unique ways. And I think each of them in their own specific challenges has made the other one better, because those two have been really written in parallel, and so it's been really enjoyable to write such different things in over the same kind of time period.
Yeah, and do you have a new idea that you're working on that you're spending a lot of time thinking about, or this coming up soon?
I do, yeah. It's and it's nice to go back to kind of the drawing board a little bit, because those two projects are long in the works, and there's this other film that I'm doing with Sunny March that's also been in the works for ages. So I've got a kind of like small little flame of a new idea that I'm trying to like outline at the moment, which is really exciting.
Well, best of luck nurturing that flame, and we'll look forward to hearing about it when you're ready to talk about it. So yeah, thanks for joining us, and back to you, Finn.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Matt. Well, I'm going to call up Thomas Hardiman, say hello to Thomas, and thank you for being part of the A team, the Stars of Tomorrow 2021 team. You have a long.
How you doing?
You have a long background in the arts. You know, you've been working in it consistently. In your education, and you've worked in all sides of the film business, really, from what I could tell. You know, to the point of being an assistant to people making films, and now you've made your own feature debut, Medusa Deluxe. I guess I'm going to ask you two questions. One is to tell us a little bit about Medusa Deluxe, and secondly, to sort of how did you feel going into it in COVID? Did you feel that you were totally prepared from all that time you'd worked as people's assistants and around the business?
I don't know. I was getting flashbacks a minute ago, sort of seeing a juror on set. You were kind of going, "Oh my God, it's a total nightmare." You're waiting for all the results to come in, and you're sitting there going, "I know that location's going. If we don't get everyone through, we're sort of lost here." So it's horrendous. But you've got such an unbelievable sort of amount of people helping you. You rely on people, and you try and kind of keep the buzz going. And I mean, it was a joyful experience. I just got so much to thank people for, really. I was sort of happy the whole way through. And it's a funny one. The film itself, it's a murder mystery set in a competitive hairdressing competition. And it's about hairdressing. My mum's really happy because she got a mention in the kind of write-up, and that's kind of made her day. So, sorry, next.
Shout out to the mum is always appreciated.
Oh, actually, also the other thing I was going to say is I didn't realize Screen Skills were involved in this, because we actually had a guy called Dylan who was on our AD team, because we were part of the program and everything. And I bumped into him yesterday. He's gone straight from that to Bridgerton, and he's kind of like going leaps and bounds onwards. It's amazing to see. I was so sort of happy for him. He was such, you just get a presence on set and you like so much, and it's amazing to see him going places.
Oh, that's great. Another shout out to Screen Skills. That's brilliant. Well, look, thank you. Thank you, Thomas. And we'll sort of say goodbye to you later, I hope. Matt, back to you.
So next up in our this current group is Adem. Adem, are you here? Hello, Adem. Hi, how you doing? So you were born in Paris, but is it fair to say that London as a city has become an inspiration to you as a writer? And how is that reflected in your debut feature, Duke, which I know you're writing right now with Film 4 backing it?
Yeah, so I mean, I was born in Paris, but I moved to London fairly early on. and then I moved to Bedford, and then I came back to London. But as I was getting older, I kind of reflected on my parents' experiences in London, kind of how it was formative to them, and kind of how part of their evolution or kind of progression in this country meant leaving London. So it's kind of just being in the thick of London, I kind of was inspired by that. And just in general, I kind of just connect with being outside and kind of the people that I meet and the stories that I hear. You know, I can't really conjure up any kind of ideas on my own. It's always kind of experiential. So yeah, that's kind of what London speaks to me for about, yeah.
And you say you're going to shoot a short version of Duke before you make the feature, is that correct?
No, it's not. It's not actually. It's completely different. It's like multi-narrative, multi-linear. It's just now we've progressed in budget and it's not self-funding. So I was like, I'm going to get 3 narratives in one shot, and
great.
That's kind of what we're going for.
Sounds great. Okay, fantastic. Well, good luck with the project. We look forward to seeing it when it's ready to watch. Thank you, everyone in this group. We will see you all later on for the end of video toasty and glasses. So now we're going to bring up our 4th group. This is another group of actors. This time we have Amir El Masri, Thomas Doherty, Talisa Texera, Jake Davies, and Aaron Pierre. Welcome to all of you. Congratulations on joining us as Stars of Tomorrow for 2021. So I am going to start with you, Amir. Nice to see you.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Please excuse
Good.
the noise in the back. I'm actually on set, which is they've kindly given me this shirt to wear to look a little presentable.
You can tell us a little bit about that project, but I want to talk to you first about Limbo, because that was one of the films that obviously last year really grabbed people's attention. Your performance really grabbed people's attention. I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about whether you can really feel the impact it's had on your career, and has it widened the variety of roles that you're being seen for now?
Absolutely. I mean, it's very rare to be considered as a leading man, for a very long time in my career, and to be given that opportunity whilst I'm still young, it's I leapt at the chance for sure, and it's opened me up to all different kinds of roles. So I'm very, very, very privileged.
Fantastic. And so what's the project that you're making now that you're on set for?
I'm not allowed to say. My producers, I was begging them to tell me, but for me to get permission. It's a Netflix series, and it's a very popular one. Yeah, I think you might know it. So
okay. I won't throw any names at you just in case you flinch. So we'll leave it there, Amir. But very nice to have you here today.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
I am wanting to introduce now Thomas Doherty, who is on the line from Brooklyn, I believe and hope. There's so many spots on the screen, I can't see you yet. Thomas, are you there?
I'm not in Brooklyn. I'm in Budapest.
Oh my goodness. Well, apologies. Another place completely. Well, oh yes, of course. Yes. But you are currently on our screens in Gossip Girl, of course, on the BBC. And can you tell us about what you're shooting in Budapest? Are you allowed to do that yet?
Yeah, it got announced today. I'm doing a film Sony Pictures is doing called The Bride. Natalie Emmanuel is in it. So yeah, it's really. I was actually getting on a flight to Spain on a family holiday. And I got the call, and then 4 days later, I'm in Budapest.
Wow. Life in the fast lane.
Yeah.
Thomas, it sort of feels like we might have lost you a bit to the United States. You sort of, you're no one can tell that you're really from Edinburgh. When we see you on the screen, will you come back, or are you gone for good?
Don't worry, I'll come back. I'll come back then. Yeah, no, I've just been so fortunate out there, and it's kind of I've been really lucky, but I've got amazing reps back in the UK. So yeah, I would love to come back to the UK and work here and kind of balance it out.
What's the goal, Thomas, for your career?
I guess I just want to keep on doing, for me, acting. It's just really, really fun. and I love playing characters, and the more opportunity that I get to play fun, interesting characters that will resonate with different audiences and kind of hopefully question people's preconceived notions. I mean, that's kind of all I want to do, and I mean, I've been so fortunate thus far in my career. So,
well, look. Thank you very much. Thank you for dialing in from Budapest, and good luck with the shoot.
Thank you, Fan. And congrats everyone else.
So next up we have Talisa. Hi, Talisa. Are you there?
Hello.
Hi. So, Talisa, you were born in Bradford, raised in Brazil. Before moving back to the UK, you've had key roles in TV series Anne Boleyn, Trigonometry, and you are now going to appear in the forthcoming Ragdoll. What can you tell us about the most recent project, and what kind of roles are you looking to play in your career?
Well, Ragdoll is Sid Gentle's most recent show. Was just such a dream to be able to play a character that was so, I mean, in the writing it was already diverse, which I think is so important for me, not feeling like I've been shoehorned in to storylines. Freddie Seinborn's writing, and it was extraordinary. I play a police detective who may or may not be good at her job. I don't know, it's questionable. But it's less of a story about whodunit. It's more of a psychological thriller about the characters going a bit rogue and judgment, really, who is actually the mad one. But what was the other question that you had?
What kind of roles are you looking to play in your career? I mean, do you have a very sort of set idea in your mind, or are you just very open to what comes your way?
Yeah, well, I'm hoping to kind of maybe create some stuff of my own. I've dipped my tiny little toe in the sea of what could possibly be directing or writing. And I think it'd be quite nice to tell some stories about being mixed race, about Brazil. I think that's possibly missing a little bit in what I've seen, especially Brazil. So it'd be really nice to be able to expand into that realm.
Excellent. So we might see you writing and directing in the future as well.
I wouldn't swear by it, but it would be nice, yeah.
Well, good luck with everything, Talisa, and lovely to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Hi, it's my turn. I'm back again to introduce Jake Davies. Jake, are you there?
Hello.
Yes, you are. Hello. Welcome. Thank you for being part of this STARS program. I know that you've been in the business for a while. You went to the Brit School, but I think what people are probably going to see you the most for, or pay the most attention to, really, is a film that's premiering at the London Film Festival next week, which is Phantom of the Open, and it stars Mark Rylance and you. It's Jake. Could you tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's where most people will see you.
Yeah, it's a film that's like based around, there's a guy in the 70s who entered the British Open who'd never played golf before, and he got the worst score that was ever recorded, and they kept trying to like kick him out of the British Open, and he kept coming back in different disguises and different pseudonyms and stuff. So it should be quite, Craig Roberts is directing it, and his stuff always, he's a brilliant director, and aesthetically looks quite amazing of that era. I think it'd be quite interesting. And it's like a comedy drama. And I play his eldest son, who is kind of maybe a counterpoint towards his desires or trajectory in the film.
I've seen a scene where you kind of go head to head with Mark Rylance. Is that an intimidating thing to have to walk onto set and pull out of the hat?
Yeah, well, yeah, flipping, you got Mark Rylance there, who's amazing. But yeah, well, he's really generous with his offerings. You know, he's really there to tell the story, and you really feel that when you're working with him. And you're trying to kind of find it together, and he feels very present. So, if anything, it kind of makes it a lot easier on your part, because you just have to listen.
Well, brilliant. Have you got anything that you're shooting at the moment in any exotic location like the others, or are you?
Not exotic. I'm going to Manchester tomorrow. Could be exciting. I'm doing a little something in a BBC thing, but yeah, that's all at the minute.
Okay, well, look, good luck with everything, and thanks again, Jay. Good luck
Thanks
with the
for having
premiere
me.
next week.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Finn. Thanks for having me.
Well, next up in this group, we have Aaron Pierre. Aaron, are you there? Hi. Welcome, Aaron. You caught Barry Jenkins's eye when you were on stage at the Globe playing a role in Othello, and he subsequently cast you for one of the lead roles of Caesar in his Apple TV series, The Underground Railroad. So that is a quite exciting trajectory to be discovered by a director on stage in a play. Can you tell us a little bit about that whole experience? I mean, including on the shoot itself, how was that for you?
Yeah, and it's actually on Amazon, but yeah, it was a great.
Sorry, Amazon, my bad.
No, it's a bit, yeah, it was, yeah, that was a really sort of unique experience, you know. I wasn't expecting to be seen by Barry Jenkins on stage in London. I was, you know, hugely thankful and grateful that I was. And soon after the show that he saw, he sent me a direct message on Twitter and was like, hey man, like, let's do something. And I said, yes, please. And, you know, we did it, and it was just a wonderful experience. And we all had the same objective, which was just to tell the story of these incredible individuals as authentically and as truthfully as we possibly could, and honor those individuals. And I hope we did that.
No, you absolutely did. It's an incredible series for anyone who hasn't seen it. Very special series, and congratulations on your performance in it as well. And I understand Barry has actually since cast you as the voice of the young Mufasa in his Lion King prequel. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. So you know, I can't say too much, but yeah, it's I feel very blessed and very grateful, and yeah, I'm just happy to be here, you know, and thank you for having me.
Thank you, Aaron. Well, lovely to have you here, and we'll see you at the end, I hope, for the final sort of group shots. So see you then. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, I'm on set, so I'll try to stick around. But yeah, but thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks, Aaron. Thank you. Back to you, Finn.
Yes, I think we're already on the point of running over. So the next team I have are team producer, director, writers. We have Chitai, producer, Sorika Bacon, producer, the writer Genevieve Barr, writer-director Sophie Littman, producer Sam Tipperhale, and the writer-director Rain Ann Miller. Thank you all for coming, being part of it, and being here today on this rather longer than we thought broadcast. But that's the fun of live broadcasting. I'm going to start by saying hello to Sorika Bacon. Sorika, thanks again for coming on. I'm going to put you on the spot really and sort of explain to people that you have two sort of production companies or production initiatives going on at the moment, that you've got your own label, Try Hard Films, and then you're working with two other producers on a label called Teen Club, and you also have, you know, quite a long track record with producing, you know, very ambitious and brilliant shorts, particularly from Harry Lighton, who's former star of Tomorrow. Could you sort of give us your mission statement as a producer?
Very good question. I suppose they're quite different depending on which company we're speaking about, but I think Teen Club was set up during lockdown with two very dear friends of mine as a kind of out of frustration that we were sort of in an era of films about gay women that were specifically women wearing bonnets from the sort of 1800s. And we were just quite tired of seeing the same narrative over and over again. So I thought, well, if we're going to complain about it, why don't we just have a go and see if we can make our own high school teen movie? And so out of that, Teen Club was born, and its kind of mission has always been to kind of create youth-focused Gen Z content for an international audience and just make that popcorn cinema that we didn't have growing up. And that is totally exciting for me on the one side of my kind of commercially minded brain, and maybe the side of my brain that might end up, you know, making me some money at some point. And then my other side is my more kind of ambitious, not more ambitious, just slightly more invested in kind of smaller stories or kind of more character-led emotional things that kind of don't really have a sort of genre specificity, but I guess I'm just interested in characters that kind of surprise and entertain, and it doesn't really matter what that story ends up looking like. So whether it's a pregnant criminal on the run, or like a story about coercive control, or refugee stories, I'm sort of just interested in putting characters on screen that just like continue to surprise us.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Serka, and good luck with everything going forward.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Sam, we're going to come to you next. Hello, how are you doing? So you've had experience. Yeah, good. You've had experience working alongside Deborah Hayward at Working Title, Pippa Cross and Jeanette Day at Cross Day Productions, where you also worked as a head of development and production. Now that you're branching out on your own as a producer, what have you learned from the people that you've worked with so far that you're going to take forward with you?
I think I can only talk for Jeanette and Pippa at Cross Day because I was only at Working Title for about a week or two. But I think what I learned from them is just the sort of looking at every single project. I think they worked with such a diverse slate. That's both budget size but also taste. So I just remember always looking at a lot of stuff and sort of understanding the benefits of different types of project. And I think I've definitely, on the stuff I'm doing at the moment by myself, taken on that sort of mantra. And also just the sort of, I think they've both worked exceptionally hard. And whether it's doing the legals on a film or arguing with the gaffer about overtime, they're always doing that. So I think both those skill sets, hopefully I'm going to try and sort of emulate going forwards.
I know you have an absolute ton of projects in development. I wish we had time to talk to you about them, but I'll just tell people to go to your Screen Daily profile and hear all about Sam's projects, because there are a number in the works, I know. So thank you very much, Sam, for being here today. Back to you, Finn.
Hi, I'm Genevieve Barr, who I want to introduce to everyone. She's an actor and a writer. I don't know if I said actor before. I think anyone who saw her in the 2010 miniseries The Silence would never forget her. And she's since worked on Jack Thorne's miniseries, The Accident. And as a writer, she's been working a lot with Jack Thorne. She's had a short on the BBC. Genevieve, you work as an actor and a writer. So I'd like to know what your long-term goals are in relation to your career, or what you want to achieve.
I suppose that my route into writing kind of came from my experiences in the acting industry as a deaf actor. I think disability is the forgotten diversity, and I actually think disability is a really exciting space. So for me, what I want to see is, I want to see disability represented on screen, but I want it to be about perspective rather than just about representation, because everything that I've seen that's about diversity on screen, that about perspective, is exciting. And I don't believe in tokenism. So, for me, the stories I want to tell and the stories I want to perform in are about enabling young people to not see disability as something to be frightened of or something to be sad about. And I think there's a lot of work we have to do to change that current conversation. So it's quite a serious answer, to be honest. I'm really excited. I'm so happy to be part of this award. But, I'm also really excited about what the future can bring in terms of representation and perspective on screen.
No, you make really good points. And thank you for making them. And thank you for being part of it, Genevieve.
Oh, thank you.
Are we going to Rain next, or are we I know we have someone who has to leave, right, Finn?
I think we've been told no, we're going to Rain next.
Okay, apologies, everyone. Rain, apologies to you. Are you here?
It's all right. I feel really special. So.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, Rain.
Rain, I've been waiting to speak to you. I've been waiting to speak to you, so it finally arrived.
No, I'm joking. It's fine.
Nice to see you again. I know I met you briefly on the photo shoot. So I want to just ask a little bit about your debut feature as a director, which is, I know, backed by BBC Film, the BFI, Searchlight Pictures, and it's a romantic comedy that was originally set in North London, but that you relocated to South London, presumably with an eye to making it a bit more personal. First of all, does it have a title yet? Because I know you weren't happy with the original title. And what can you tell us about how you changed the story from the different parts of London?
Well, I don't know if I can actually tell you the title. It's sort of internally signed off, but I'm not sure if I can say, but let's just say that it's a very South London title.
Okay.
Like quite specific. Let's
Okay.
say the South London version of Notting Hill.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, I mean the film, to sort of changing it, the location, I guess, was kind of, for me, to sort of touch on films like Notting Hill. I felt like there wasn't really a romantic comedy that represented the world that I know, and sort of North London didn't really do that for me. I think South London is a underrepresented or misrepresented part of London. You think of hoodies and kind of very annoying stereotypes, and I wanted to show the South London that I know and love, and sort of grew up in. I mean, I was born in Manchester, but I moved to London when I was 12, so I'm a Londoner at heart. But yeah.
And when might we see the film Rain, whatever it's called?
Hopefully soon. It's we've got a decent edit. We've tested it. It's done really well. I think probably next year. We've got a few little bits to iron out, and there's quite a lot of VFX. So yeah, hopefully next year.
Great. Well, look, all best luck finishing the project. We look forward to hearing what it's finally called and also seeing it when it does come out. Nice to see you again, Rain.
Nice to see you. Thanks.
I'm struck, Matt, about how many kind of interesting projects we're going to be seeing on screen, and so many different representations. It's brilliant. It's really brilliant. And in that vein, I guess it's my pleasure to introduce Chi Tai, who is a producer, and in fact has a. Is it in production now, Chi? Is it a Raging Grace? Is that in production?
We're in pre-production at the moment. We're going to be filming from 1st of November. So I'm crunching right now.
Well, it's a horror film. It's backed by Shudder, and it's about a Filipino immigrant. Is that a Filipino immigrant in the UK? An undocumented migrant in the UK?
That's correct. Yeah, it's about an undocumented worker who had a daughter in the UK, and it's definitely a horror, but I say it's a horror with a small h, and because I think when you are an undocumented worker, your situation naturally is a hostile environment. There's no kind of supernatural kind of forces at play. It's just the forces of society and power, upon this person.
Yes, no, that's absolutely right. That's terrifying enough in itself.
Yeah.
I know that you're interested in keen in finding roles for British, Asian, and Southeast Asian talent, and that's one of your driving ambitions, really. And your production company is called Last Conqueror. So can you sort of put it in your own words, really, rather than have me put it in your mouth about what you want to do?
I kind of find a lot of common ground with what Genevieve was saying. Was like, I kind of feel I'm here, and there's a certain mission, which is to really kind of work with filmmakers that come from the British East and Southeast Asian diaspora to tell those kind of stories that center those things. And they all come from a place of, perspective. We get the representation through the perspective. I think that's a really kind of lovely kind of nuance. And that's what I'm about. Stories about that, filmmakers who want to do that, but also do it from, a real place of authenticity. So it just means, the kinds of filmmakers I work with, as well as the kinds of stories, are specific in that sense. But, it's also a really exciting place. So if I think about Raging Grace, it's the very first British Filipino film that's been produced here. That's something that's completely new, and it's exciting. It's, in some ways, it's kind of a little bit bitter, but I'm really glad that we're able to do it now. And I don't want it to be the first and last. I'm looking, to kind of build a whole movement, of these kind of films and filmmakers.
Well, it seems like it's the right time.
Yeah.
So, congratulations and thank you. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you.
Sophie, hi, coming to you next. I know your first scripted short, Sudden Light, was selected for Cannes competition in 2020, and your debut feature, Has This Been So Before, is aiming for a 2022 shoot. Can you tell us a little bit about your interest in creating moods and worlds that I think you describe as eerie and unsettling, as opposed to being explorations of genre per se? I think you sort of don't necessarily like the word genre, but you do create this kind of eerie worlds. I just wonder if you could talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I guess they inadvertently fall into genre, but yeah, I was always just trying to create something that's full of tension and a bit unnerving. And so that's always the aim. And then if it inadvertently falls into different genres or pulls in different genres, then yeah, that's great. But
and who would you say have been your influences in that regard, in terms of like, the kind of work that you like to do? I mean, do you have any particular influences?
yeah, but I always feel like a sort of to put myself in it with in sentences with these people feels a bit like self-conscious. But yeah, I would say like David Lynch, Tarkovsky, all those classic predictable canon. So.
Well, fantastic. Well, look, Sophie, we'll look forward to seeing your debut feature. You're hoping to shoot that next year then, yeah?
That one's actually being put on the back burner, but I'm working on another feature that I'm very, very excited about.
Okay, good. Well, we'll look forward to hearing about that when you're ready to talk about it. Thank you for being with us today, and congratulations on being a star tomorrow. Well, look, last but certainly not least, we are now going to our final group, and our final group is also a group of actors, and we are joined now by Lola Pettigrew, Kausar Ali, and Anjana Vazan. Welcome to all of you, and congratulations on joining us as Stars of Tomorrow for 2021. Lola, hi, I'm going to come to you first. So you're already having a pretty busy career. Many of us will have seen you in Dating Amber, in which you played a lesbian Irish teenager of the title. You've gone on to play Jane Seymour and Anne Boleyn for Channel 5, and you played Julia Louis-Dreyfus's daughter in Wolf, which recently premiered in Toronto. In terms of the early roles that you've played, is there one that has felt particularly significant to you as an actor or personally?
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say that Dating Amber had like a profound effect on me, and sort of was like something that led to me thinking about and giving weight to my own sexuality and sort of queerness. So that was something that was really lovely, and I met my best friend on that job. So yeah.
Fantastic. Who's your best friend then? Can we ask?
Okay.
And were you able to make it out to Toronto for the premiere of Wolf?
No, I wasn't. I was in New York at the time, so it's like a hop, skip, and a jump away. But no, I couldn't go.
That's a shame. And are you shooting anything right now?
Yeah, so I'm just about to finish off. She Said with Universal, which is about the article which took down Harvey Weinstein.
Ah, great. Well, that sounds a very exciting project. We'll look forward to seeing that. Thank you very much, Lola. Hang on for a few minutes because we haven't got long to go. It'd be great to have you on at the end.
Thank you ever so much.
Yeah, we don't have long to go at all, but Kausar Ali, who I'm just delighted to introduce to everyone and delighted to have in Stars of Tomorrow. Kausar, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. Well, happier that this is coming quite smoothly to an end. But I believe you're calling from Prague, is that correct?
Yeah, we're in Prague today and it's raining. There's thunder actually.
And you're shooting Dangerous Liaisons, which is a TV series. Yep. Can you talk maybe a little tiny bit about that, or is that kind of supposed to be under wraps?
No, yeah, we're doing a remake of Dangerous Liaisons, but in a series. I think it's 8 episodes. It's more of like a female gaze of Camille and Lady Matoy. And yeah, I think that's what I'm going to say for now.
Well, you've had big changes happen in your life. Obviously, there was Rocks, and then you start winning awards. And it just struck me when I was looking at your career that all of that has really happened for you in lockdown. You've never really kind of been back to school or been back to proper life since all that happened. I mean, Does it sort of feel real, or does it feel a bit dreamlike, or, how do you feel about going back to school when you do go back?
Yeah, actually, I haven't been back to school in a while now. Yeah, it's crazy. I think it's all felt very weirdly normal because
kind of have to adapt to it being normal. So even though it has all felt very overwhelming and weird, I feel very comfortable now in my house on a screen. So when we do go back to doing normal life, it's going to be really odd.
Are you going to carry on? Are you going to try for drama school, or what's your hopes, Koza?
I think I'm just taking everything step by step, taking everything as it comes. But in terms of drama school, I'm not so sure. I mean, drama school is amazing, and I think it definitely builds people to be incredible actors. But yeah, not so sure yet.
See what happens when it happens. Look, thank you very much. Thank you for waiting patiently. Thank you.
Of course, thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Kozar. And that brings us, last but not least, to Anjana Vazan. Hi, Anjana.
Hi, sorry, it's Anjana.
Sorry, apologies for mispronouncing. So you, like so many of our other stars, have a very international background in that you were born in India, raised in Singapore. You studied drama at the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama. And you, of course, made a very big splash in Nida Manzoor's We Are Lady Parts, playing Amina, which is a very memorable sort of series for all of us who've seen it. So did that role tap into your own personality in some ways?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I was kind of shocked that there was a character that was into folk and country music like myself. And Nida grew up in Singapore as well, and we kind of bonded over that fact. So there was a lot of like shared DNA. I mean, obviously Amina is quite a broader version of myself, but I definitely tapped into parts of myself, maybe my younger self, in order to play her.
And what do you have coming up next? Are you working on anything at the moment?
I am. I don't know if I'm allowed to say or not, because I don't think they've announced the cast, but I'm doing some TV. I can say it's the final season of a popular TV show, but that's all I'm allowed to say, I think.
Okay. I think I might know what it is, but I don't want to say it to give it away. I don't know. Am I allowed? Should I say it?
I don't know. I don't want to get you into trouble.
I don't want to get you into trouble. Okay, I won't get you into
We've been sworn to secrecy, I think, haven't we?
It's a great series. It's a great series. Look, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sorry we have to move on because we just want to get everyone back on screen now. So thank you very much to our last group of stars. We're going to bring everyone back now, but I also want to just read a quick message from Bucky Bakray, who is supposed to be joining us as one of our stars of tomorrow. Of course, Kozar Ali's co-star in Rocks, a really great young actress. Unfortunately, she couldn't hang around because we've overrun, so apologies to Bucky, but she did want me to read out a brief message from her. She says, "Hey everyone, sorry I couldn't make it today. Feels really warm being in a list with you incredible people. Never thought I would ever see the beauty in visual arts the way I do today. And you are all responsible for that realization. Looking forward to seeing how your contributions continue to shift perspectives. Big thanks to you all." So we miss you, Bucky, but that's a lovely message to everyone.
Yeah.
And welcome back, everyone. That brings us to the end of our Stars of Tomorrow celebration today. It's been a huge pleasure speaking to all of you, and we couldn't be more delighted to have you as part of the Stars of Tomorrow cohort for 2021. I know we'll be seeing some of you next week in the in-person event, so we look forward to meeting you in person there. And thanks to everyone who watched today. We hope you've enjoyed meeting these rising UK and Irish talents, and it only remains for Finn and I to raise our glasses. Here's one we poured earlier, and toast all of you in an Irish way, slánta, as Finn would say. Slánta. Wish you all the very best in your careers, and we look forward to following them with keen interest. You'll always be part of the Screen family. So here's to you, here's to Finn, here's to our Stars of Tomorrow, and see you all very soon. Goodbye, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.